Normal stuff. We are rolling back to ICN Talks, the podcast, where we have only superstars today. Andres, thank you, brother, for joining.
Gracias, Dani. Gracias for having me in the podcast.
Thank you very much for coming. A Colombian accent, South
Of
America,
course, with a little
Latina.
bit of British accent. That's what my wife say. I don't have British accent. She the British and the Colombian. The kids, they think I don't have an accent, but I have Colombian accent.
You have.
Yeah.
It's nice though. Yeah. How long you been in Dubai for?
So on and off 3 years, but with the family, we moved last year. Yeah.
Mm. And when it was your journey to the London part? Like, I know you have a British passport as well.
Yes, I have 3 passports.
Oh
So,
wow, nice
so
one. Yeah.
it's good to have more than
What is the
one
third
passport.
one?
It's a secret.
Okay,
I always
nice.
have it for the authorities.
Nice.
No, I'm from Colombia, computer engineer. I moved back in 2008 to the UK with 320 pounds or $400 in my pocket. I went there just to learn English. I went for 6 months, and then I stayed for more than 6 months. So I met my wife, and then I did everything. I came from.
She was the reason.
She was the reason I stayed. I was nearly to go, and then I met her. I stay, and then I clean toilets, and then do coffees. I had like 4 jobs. I remember one of the jobs I was making like £4 an hour, like $5, and it was really hard. So after 3 years living there, I married my wife, and then I started working my job as a computer engineer. But the first 3 years were tough, living in really bad places, let's say like that. Nothing bad, but nothing like it is now, right? I sleep in my friend's sofas, moving my suitcases from one room to another room, to trying to avoid to pay for rent because I had to go and travel or I didn't have enough money. So I had 3 months, I remember, living in the sofa, really skanky sofa bed of my friend's house because I couldn't afford the rent. So yeah, it was good 3 years of resilience and learning how to survive with the minimum. And actually, when I was in that sofa, remember, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, in Spanish, Padre Rico, Padre Pobre. That was 2011. That was my first book that I read
Mr.
about
Robert.
entrepreneur. Yeah. So I'm from there. A lot happened since then, though.
It was a book that changed your mindset somehow. Like it had an input, that input that you needed at that particular moment in your life.
So I was trying to find a way how to make more money. Obviously, I wasn't making more than $800 a month, let's say, yeah. But then my rent was really cheap. I was, living.
How old were you?
I was 24 to 27. So I wasn't young when I moved to UK because I had to finish my career. So it was 6 years studying telecommunication engineering and cybersecurity. In 6 years it took me. So it's not like other countries that is 3 years. I studied 6 years. I studied mathematics, like 7 levels, physics 7 levels, digital communication, satellite communication. I studied cybersecurity. I did all the Cisco modules and all the routing. I did a lot. So I studied really hard. And then, I moved to UK when I was 24.
It was helpful, like to go through all this level of education.
At the time, it was helpful because one thing to get to the UK, I had to prove that I could go and I wasn't an idiot, right? So actually, the process to go to the UK, you have to have some way of form to come back to Colombia. So I said, look, I'm coming to UK to learn English, and then I had to go back to finish my degree. That was the way they let me stay. So it was helpful. And in Colombia, if you have a degree, it was helpful in the past. Now, not much. I was making, I remember, $300 a month as a computer engineer for 6 months. So if I would stay, maybe it would be a little bit helpful, but not anymore.
I'm interested to stay a little bit more in this stage.
Okay.
Because I want to enter there, right?
Not many
in your
people
mind.
know this. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you put some stuff out a little bit from your past, right?
Yes.
I saw
Yes.
some interviews, but not too
Yes.
many though.
Not too deep.
Yeah. But were you afraid, like when you walk on the street and you know that the next day is coming and is not really how you will like to be, right? Is like, okay, you have these financial challenges, you don't know, like, mm, uncomfortable situation, right? This type of self conversations that we have, because I've been there as well
Yeah.
in that stage in my life. Did you feel any fear, like, or you've been like not super, but confident to know that I'll be good, I'll be fine. I don't know how, but I'll be
So
good.
in Colombia, we have something. Well, we have Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Is one of the biggest writers in the whole world. He died a couple of years ago, but he won a Nobel Prize, and he have something called the magic realism. Right? He wrote this book called 100 Years of Solitude. Is one of the bestsellers. That's the one that he won the Nobel Prize of Literature. So what the magic realism means is like you can live in a country or in a space or in a spot that it doesn't make any sense. For example, I was brought up in the middle of the cartel wars in the 90s in Colombia. I was 5, 6, 7 years old, I remember. And then there was on the news, there was a bomb explosion, people got kidnapped. So all of this become our reality. But in the middle of that reality, there were also good stuff, So I don't remember all the Pablo Escobar, all the cartel wars. Of course I remember, but I also remember the good moments with my cousins when I was traveling to visit them and we would go to the river. I was in a point in my life that we lost everything with my mom and sister, and that was the best moments of my life. Not because we didn't have money or we had money, because we were together. So going back to your question, I never have that. I never been scared. Obviously, as an adult now, I'm a little bit more cautious because I have kids. What's going to happen. But I always been bullish on myself since I've been
That's
little.
the thing, yeah.
I always been bullish. I know there's something going to come up, something's going to happen, and I think so that will help me to get into the entrepreneurial mindset. And that's when I read the book of Rich Dad Poor Dad. I say, wow, maybe it's a way around. But going back to your question, yeah, I was brought up in the most difficult era of Colombia in the 90s. So I got thick skin now, crocodile, And I was brought up in a school that all of us, with our parents or friends or cousins or uncles, aunties, they were in the army in Colombia. So Air Force, military, Navy. And then we were, for example, having math class or any class. And then somebody called and knocked the door and bring one of the kids and said, we need to speak to Laura. And then they talked something to her on the outside. And they probably told her that her dad got killed in action. So that's how I got brought up. So for me, now being scared,
everything else is a bonus.
It's a bonus. Of course, I have my fears and stuff, but now it's more about health, and about my kids being happy. So that's, I think, my biggest fears
This
now.
is important because in those moments in our lives, the way how you feel in those days, right? When you have nothing, like literally you are the bottom, like nothing
Yes.
worse than that, right?
Yeah.
Like was worse than $300 per month, like nothing, right? Where can I go from here?
Yeah.
So, but the self conversations that you have, it will set the stage for, like, will show me your dimension.
Yeah.
Right. That's why there is no how to say this. No wonder that you are successful right now, and we'll be talking about this because you had this self conversations like. I'll figure it out, right?
Yeah.
I'll be fine. You don't see exactly how in these days because everything is, darkish.
Yeah.
But you just have that self-confidence that I'm going to find the solutions. I'm going to find I'm going to take the right decisions. Somehow I will see the opportunities, and then you go. And what came after London? Like, what was
So yeah,
after that?
I moved to London. Something that has helped me, actually, I forgot to mention. I was in the army in Colombia, in the military school and the military university. So those years in this environment helped me a lot, because you have people calling you names, pushing you down. I remember we used to go to the mountain. We had to sleep in a tent for 4 days. It was rough.
You acquired some discipline.
So, and then we had to carry, I think it was 35 or 40 kilos back with the gun, and then do like 10 kilometers. So all of that resilience, and also in the army, people treat you like shit. Yeah, and you are like the rookie.
Yeah.
They say, hey, go to the floor, 20, 30 push-ups. So all of that helped me a lot. And then I moved to the UK. Actually, was my brother-in-law and my sister that helped me, because you had to pay for the school and the English school and all of that. And it was $10,000. And then I didn't have it. My brother-in-law, he obviously had some wealth in Colombia. And then I asked him, I was 24. For a 24 years old guy, just a bit proud, and asking somebody for $10,000, a big commitment. So it was my mom and my dad that helped me to get the loan of him, right? So shout out to Wilson if he's watching. Actually, it took me like 4 years to send him the money back. So yeah, one thing to clarify, in Colombia, in the 90s and the 2000s, it was too difficult to find a job, like retail, like there was no Starbucks or McDonald's. There was no like working in a shop. So I didn't have a job, and I have to study from 7 to 8 p.m. every day. So then when I moved to London, that changed the whole dynamic, because I was on my own, right? I was on my own. I didn't speak any English, only hello, and that's it. And then I remember I said, what am I going to do here? But back on those days, 2008, England and the UK were way more open with foreigners and tourists, especially students. Actually, my first business experience was an international exchange school for students. I will tell you more about it. So back then it was easier, you can work 20 hours. And then I started my first job with my first boss. He was a Turkish guy. He's still my friend, actually, after 17 years, Sonny.
Nice.
He gave me the job. I said, do you speak English? I said, yes. Do you know what I'm saying? Yes. So I didn't know what he was saying. And it was in a cyber cafe, so a coffee place. And then I started there after just a month. So I was quite lucky. I got a job in a, let's say, customer face people. So I have to speak to people.
Yeah.
So that's why I learned English really fast. And then that job, it was okay. It was in the cyber cafe. It was like 30 computers, telling people, logging in, the computer didn't work. And we also have coffee. So I had to make coffees every day, clean the toilets. That job was good for those times. I had stability. But I have to also send money to my family, right? And to my mom, and to pay the debt. So I had a second job that was cleaning toilets for 1 year. So that one was tough. It was 5 a.m. in the morning, cycling to Bournemouth University in winter. And then I was making £200 a month just of that job every day for 3 hours for 5 days. So yeah, that was my first 3 years. Obviously, I met my wife back then. And then it was a nice life. I had to keep renewing the visa. I had to pay all the money that I did for renewing the visa. And then I didn't make much money, but I was happy, and my mom knew I was happy. I was learning English. And then I did a business and a marketing course. And yeah, that was the first 3 years in the UK with no money, but luckily I had the support of my wife and her family.
Did you have this internal fire somehow to have more, to start a business?
Yes.
Your thoughts were always in this direction. In this regard, like you were working on this cafeteria, but your mind is like how to open a shop, right?
I'm going to be honest. I was a bit naive and I was a bit lazy, because I was in front of a computer for work, and then but I didn't have mentors. I didn't have a path. I didn't have books. I didn't have the Tony Robbins, the Joy Dispensas, the Grant Cardones, the Bill Gates, all of these books that we have now in this generation, that's easy to, I didn't know any of this. So I couldn't do more. And of course, I have in the back of my mind, I want to make money, or I remember I had a couple of classmates, they were quite well off, or the family sent them money. And I remember I used to stay in England, and everybody was in Switzerland or in France or in Spain, and I couldn't afford it, right? So I said, how one day I can make money and go out like my classmates? So I had it, but I didn't have the tool. I was lazy, being in front of the computer and not learning more, because I didn't know better, right? So there was no like online programs, or there was no e-commerce or drop shipping or crypto education or trading. All of these tools that the new generation has, we didn't have it. So yes, I was looking for something, but I didn't know how.
So the success is even more successful, right?
Yes.
Because not that much tools.
There was no tools
that we could have played with. Fast forward, today, guys, go watch on Instagram. I'll put the links.
Yes.
1.5 million followers, right? You are doing a great job. One of the most watched crypto podcasts in the region, at least.
Yeah.
But I think you are global already.
Yeah.
OG.
Yeah.
How is this story? Like, tell me a little bit more about this.
The crypto content creation.
Yeah.
So I've been in crypto. Actually, I was doing a podcast yesterday. I was interviewing the CEO. I will introduce you to you. Actually, one of the owners of Mill Road. You know, Mill Road, they have 330,000 subscribers on their newsletter, the biggest one. And then we were talking about Coinbase, no financial advice, do your research, this is no endorsement. But Coinbase was my first wallet I had. And we were talking about Coinbase, and I would just check on my Facebook. Yeah, on Facebook, I check all my history of pictures. And it came a picture of April 2016, about when I bought my first Bitcoin. And I bought one Bitcoin back then on Coinbase with my credit card.
How much? Like $600?
No, it was 320 pounds, like $400.
Yeah, like $500.
Yeah, around.
Yeah.
So that was my first approach to crypto. Then in 2017, actually in 2016, I created my first company called Viva First. It was international, as I say, we send students to study abroad from Colombia. And we still having that company, my sister's company now. I gave it to her. She's been running it for the last 11 years, since 2015 or 14, I can remember. So many. And then fast forward, I did a lot of stuff in crypto. But then I left crypto in 2019. So from 2016 to 2019, I learned a lot. And I was helping a couple of companies, and I did a lot of affiliate marketing. And I became the GM of this company called Crypto World Evolution. It was the first company in 2017. We were doing trading bots back in 2017. And then the whole team behind Seaweed, what they call the name of the company, it was people were getting wrecked or scam, sending Bitcoins to different companies. They were promising them like 2-3% return, but they were just stealing their Bitcoin, right? So the founder of this company, his name is Thomas, he said, Andres, I put in this company new together. People went to have the money in their exchange. I said, what is an exchange? But I knew only Coinbase, right? Yeah, we will have Poloniex, Bittrex, HitBTC, and there's a new one. It's called Binance. We would try to see it. So he told me about that company, and I like the idea. Trading API keys, so we don't have access to their money. Only we can trade with API keys with the bot.
Non-custodial, yeah?
It's no custodial. So it was good. I started in August. I said, you need some help. And that's an advice for everybody that's getting into crypto. When I jumped in that company, I didn't have the experience. I wasn't a trader. I was just holding Bitcoin, and that's it. But he said, can you help me? I didn't know much about what I was going to do. The first job, remember, I was a project manager of Sangoana, remember. I was making good money, and I left that job to become a customer service for a new startup in crypto. But the guy offered me double of the money I was making. I said, yeah, I'll give it a chance. So I started with the customer service. And then, of course, it was terrific because everybody was complaining. I don't know how to connect the API key. What is Binance? What I need to do this? What is KYC? So I learned a lot. So I was doing like about 50 to 200 tickets a day on my own, replying, chat, replying. And that company, it was very successful in 2017. That was the bull run, the first bull run that was. And then I became the general manager as a contractor in November because I was, and then that company started to send me to everywhere. So I went to South Africa, Vietnam, Thailand, Russia,
All over
Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan. And because I was the GM, I started to know a lot of people in crypto. But everybody was new as well. So that's my first approach to community build, but also to social media.
Networking and everything. Yeah.
So my mom was dying of cancer back in 2016 and 17 and 18. And then she said, Andres, why you don't put pictures of you on Instagram? So instead of sending me every day, you put pictures. So that's how I started my account on Instagram because she asked me to put picture of my travels around the globe. And then I hit 10,000 followers within 1 year. But most of the people were from Russia, Ukraine, Kazakhstan, South Africa, Colombia, Mexico, because that was the community I was building. So that was my first access to crypto with that company. It's still on. The company is still working. They don't charge anymore because it's free. But back then it was through affiliates. I think they made $50 million in sales, and we have about 40,000 people. We have about 8,000 people from China. We were doing about $1 billion trading volume a day on Binance back then through the API keys. So yeah, that was the first.
Imagine now.
Yeah, we didn't have. There was no affiliate link, nothing.
Yeah. When did you decide to start the podcast? Where do you have this idea? I need to have a podcast.
So this is the evolution of everything I've been doing since 2016. In 2018, I went all into work, but was the first bear market I lived. And I made bad decisions. And then from August 2018 to December 2018, my mom died, and I just went full focus on work, right? So I want to occupy my mind.
Escape. So.
Yeah. And then in January, I left that job that I was telling you as a general manager. And I made a huge mistake because I thought it was because of me, the company succeed and all the money. But it wasn't me. It was the whole community. It was the narrative. It was the market. So I make a lot of bad decisions in 2018, and I lost everything. So I have made more than $1 million in my life in crypto, let's say like this, but I have lost more than $1 million in crypto as well. So in 2019, so
break even at least.
You break even, so I'm zero now. Have you seen those memes about the tax people coming to ask you, hey, can you declare? Yes, I make a bunch, but I lost everything after 1 month. So that's most of us, right, in crypto. So to answer your question, in 2019, because this is very connected to the question, I lost everything. And in October, I had no money. I have enough of crypto. Nothing was working, right? And then I started...
Back to the starting point.
Yeah. Back to zero after 3 years.
Yeah.
But then I met somebody called Alex on Instagram. So I saw him. Back then it was lavish life, the Lambo, the watches, all of that stuff. And I get hooked to his account. I sent him a DM. I said, hey, how you do all this money? Like this attraction marketing, this personal brand is really good. Like how he had like 300,000 followers. And then he said, Andre, you have good brand, you have good pictures, but you don't have something that's called credibility. And the only way in 2019 to have credibility is with numbers on Instagram. I said, how you do that? So long story short, back and forth, obviously it was a sales call. He said, Andres, I'm doing a coach. I can mentor you. You send me $20,000, blah, blah, blah. The guy was based in Miami. And then I didn't have money. I have only $6,000 left in my American Express. I said, look, I only have this. I'll send it to you and teach me what you're doing. So fast forward, he teach me about influencer marketing campaign. So he was running one of the biggest influencer marketing companies in Latam. So I became kind of his sales guy, So he grew my account. That's how my account, I got 1 million of followers on Instagram during COVID. So I didn't understand what was 1 million of followers because I was with my 2 kids and my wife. So I couldn't like use as much, but I used it just to connect with more people in DMs. So that year in 2020, I grew my account really fast with influencer marketing. We were making about $1 to $3 million in sales, growing accounts from CEOs to people in crypto as well, influencers, big people that you've seen with 2, 3, 4, 5 million, 20 million followers. Everybody was doing this giveaway campaigns.
There was a lot of attention at that time in the online space. Everybody was online because now we are not, but
it was different, right?
It was nothing to do, just go online. Like
just go
everybody was on mobile.
Clubhouse.
Everybody was like full time. Like 90% of your time you'll be on mobile.
I was 8 hours,
to do.
10 hours a day in Clubhouse as well. During the pandemic.
That's why, like anything, like in pandemic time, I was in e-commerce business on Amazon.
You see,
like
it was booming, right? The drop shipping in America.
Like we did with one brand with toys, like $800,000 in 4 months.
You see, it's insane.
And
everybody was buying toys.
The price of this product that was selling, it was $39, right? We will end up selling with $250, and they were buying like crazy. Because mothers, they want to kill the time with the kids in the house, like crazy.
That was my life.
Why, but the online space, it was crazy. Those months or like.
So you were taking my money because I was buying the toys. I was trying to make money. My wife was buying toys on Amazon, right?
Yeah, like the guy the seller who can have inventory at that time. And we were one.
It was good.
Yeah.
Actually, I did something I can't say now because I don't live in that country anymore. But I also was doing drop shipping with some inks, with some, I can't remember, or something. And then I got a cease and desist from that company because we were overperforming their own product in our store. I have to just get rid of the.
Yeah. I didn't touch drop shipping. I didn't like the model. Like sometimes, maybe most of the times, we start businesses that. We are we can be the client of that business, right? Somehow you see yourself consuming those products in a matter of not, right? But it's drop shipping for me. It was like, okay, like who is going to wait like 2 weeks for the product in 2020? Like in Amazon, we're launching 2 day, right? Like
now 1 hour.
Yeah, 1 hour. But at that time, it was super successful, like 2 day delivery. It was massive because of this game with words. 2 day delivery is actually in 48 hours, but
it sounds
less. It sounds like 2 day delivery, right? So it was a massive success. Like everyone was like, right now, send me right now, right? So then I was like, how should I start a business and keep my clients waiting for 2-3 weeks, and looking like 2-3 years to receive the
nobody waits.
So that's why like I didn't touch drop shipping at all.
2 weeks takes too long.
My business was FBA. Like just manufacture them in China and ship them out. I had an army in China at that time. Like I had like 60 agents working for me 24 hours.
That was so they were the drop shippers or the FBAs or the e-commerce people. They were the Instagram or the people selling high tickets on Instagram, right? The people selling verification. There were people selling everything on Instagram. I remember.
Online courses were like $1 billion market in 2 months.
I spent 2020. I remember I won't mention him, but I spent $20,000 on this guy on an online course. It wasn't that great. I have spent a lot of money in courses actually. So going back to your question, influencer marketing.
Okay, when came up like. I want to see exactly that moment in your mind when you said, I want to start a podcast.
It took too long to get it, but...
To bring it to life?
No, actually it took only 1 hour. But from the moment I did influencer marketing, I bounced back. I started to make money again. And then I had 1 million followers. Then I got verified. And then in 2020, and then I started to do a lot of clubhouse rooms in Spanish. Actually, I have the biggest community in Spanish for entrepreneurs. We have one with 150,000 entrepreneurs on Clubhouse. And that's when I met everybody. I met Mario, I met Farouk, all this new guy, the guy that you see in Twitter, they were getting started.
They're running Twitter.
Now they're running Twitter. Actually, as I said,
boys.
I was with Mario Nafal going to Singapore in the plane, and I said, it's crazy how we met in these rooms. I remember he told me, I was in his room in the round table at the very beginning, like with 40 people. I said, who is this guy? And then we started to talk, and he said, Andre, you should do your own round table in Spanish, that's your niche. So I started to do it. So actually, that was one of the first things why I created the podcast. I was very good on Clubhouse. I know how to speak to people. I was doing 400, 500, 800 rooms at the time. I was the moderator, so I'm very good at it. But then fast forward in 2022, crypto, I got sucked back into crypto. Somebody, I won't mention, she doesn't work for Binance anymore, but she invited me. She said, Andres, you're an influencer. I said, no, I just do influencer marketing. No, you're an influencer. You need to put 3, 4, 5 stories, and we'll send you a location. I said, what is a location? Don't worry, put $500 in your BNB, and you do the promo of this token. So I won't mention which one. And then I check my wallet, I have $8,000. I said, what is this? This is your location. I said, what I do with the money? Send me your wallet, and you have to say, no, that you are a KOL. So you keep that money, we have more for you. So, no, so that was my first approach. I didn't know what was KOL or influencer. And then they invited me to Binance Blockchain Week in 2022. I came here, they pay for the hotel and the flights. And I got fascinated with Dubai again, right? I said, wow, what is this? So I did so many stories. I created a lot in Spanish and English. And at the end of the Binance Blockchain Week, the head of affiliates and the CMO came to me and said, Andres, you want to go to Las Vegas? I said, what do you mean? It was Wednesday here in Dubai. I said, yeah, you won the competition of the best content creator of the Binance Blockchain Week. I said, well, I didn't know this. Just on Telegram, join the group. But I didn't use Telegram, right? I said, okay, what I want? You want to go to Las Vegas? I said, yes, when? You have to be in Vegas on Saturday because you're going to the Grammys on Sunday. I said, wow, that's amazing. I said, for how many people? I said, for you and somebody. So I had to call my wife. We're going to Las Vegas. On Wednesday, I pick you on Friday in London, and then we go to Las Vegas. But something that many people don't know. People think at the beginning, all the girls get paid for everything. Actually, Binance told me, we're paying for the Velaju and the Grammys and the experience, but you have to pay yourself tickets. I wasn't making much money back then, right? So I had to pay for myself like $7,000 just to fly. But I had to do it because it was part of the experience.
Yeah.
So those 18 months that I was working as a KOL, I was just putting my name out there.
Exactly.
I was creating networking. I was creating connections. I ended up with CC on stage on Paris 5 years anniversary. Me and Quentin, the only KOL selected among 40,000 KOLs on stage. It's not because I'm the best or the better looking or fun. It's because I know how to network, how to communicate, and add value at the beginning. You see, Binance invited me to an event, but I had to pay from my own pocket. I'll do it. And that happened a lot, those 12 months. And then from March, April 2022, and then it's October 2022, Crypto OGs. So I was doing well, you know. I was doing Binance Blockchain Week. I was doing OKX invite me for the McLaren experience. I got invitation from a lot of exchanges to create content. So then that was FTA happened, right? I was receiving a lot of pitches from people. Like, hey, Andres, do you want to see this project? Do you want to see this project? Do you want to see this project? I said, wow, everybody's trying to show me their project. So
Another angle.
And then actually in September in Binance Blockchain Week in Paris, they were launching Binance.live. And they called me and said, Andres, we're launching something new. You want to be part of it? And I said, yeah, what I need to do? You need to create content in this new platform. There's no users. I said, what? But remember, I had the Clubhouse experience. Yeah. So I said, if it's new, in social media, you never know. It could, nothing happened. Like with Clubhouse, we gain experience, but we don't have those followers, right? I still have my followers, but they don't do anything. I mean, they don't convert. Then when they come in for Binance Blockchain Week, I say yes straight away. I said, what I need to do? Create content, create videos. I said, wow. Say, what I'm going to create, because I'm not a professional trader, right? I'm not going to. And back then, people got burned out of the sport cars, the watches, the people trying to sell the dream that you can be rich with crypto because FTX happened, and everybody was burned out. Nobody wants to create content. Oh yeah, look at my new Lambo, and everybody's lost $10 billion. So that's how I started Crypto OGs. Binance tell me they're going to create a new platform. I say yes, and then all the people were asking me if they could show me their projects. I say okay. So I have Binance here, and this person want to show me the project. I put him or her on the podcast. They show me, and then we start. And we start in September. At the end of September, we started our first episode. It was really bad. I remember I had a podcast. I was invited to a podcast, and I asked for advice from people. I said, what shall I do as a podcast? I said, just suck at it, be shit at the beginning, but do as many as you can so you can learn first. So yeah, the first 50 podcasts, they were okay. I didn't have team. I didn't have anything, equipment. It was basically my laptop. I have a Mac. I can't remember what computer I had. It was the camera, 2 lights, a StreamYard. That's it. It was really bad. I didn't have anything. I didn't know what I was asking. I was just going with the flow, and then it started to get better and better and better.
Yeah. When I look back right now, retrospectively, right, on all those years in your career, I can spot few moments when you actually did exactly what everyone who's fancy any sort of success should do. One, you had this type of self-conversations that I'll be good no matter what. This is not me. I put this type of things out on my account, saying that the situation is bad, not you. So you don't need to negotiate with yourself if you're good or not. Just understand that this is a temporary situation, and the situation is bad, not you. So you will be there in the good times. It's just a matter of time. Figure it out, and that's it. You're still you, no matter what. So this is what you did right. The second one, which I like it, you reach out to these guys that they're steps ahead, right? This step is huge. Like, even if it looks like a basic, like primary, nothing special, no one does this. Like, to reach out those big boys that are doing what you like to do and reach them out and pay them, and you spend all your money in this guy, right?
There's
like
a couple of
literally
guys, yes.
Like
Minus,
teach me.
yes.
Like, I'm all in. Like, those all in bets that you took. The second one, and the third one you just mentioned right now is like, at the beginning you were absolutely horrible, right?
It was bad, yeah.
It was bad. Like, bro, if you watch my first podcast, like, it's on YouTube. Like, I'm literally in the same chair, here. Like, I'm reading head down. Like, I didn't even watch see the guest for 3 minutes. like I'm here, keep reading about you, right? You are the guest. And Andres is this and this and this. Like 3 minutes. I'm not even look at you, like, horrible. And then, like, when I'm talking, the lights, like, something nice, like. But if you don't face this type of environment when you start too late. Like, if you want to be like Joe Rogan day one, it's impossible. Like, you forget. You'll never be that level, right? So you took all these right decisions at the right moment. You didn't, start crying, oh, what I'm doing, I'm in London, $10 per day, whatever. Or, like, that's why you are in this, the way how I see it. And there is no wonder that right now you are in the position to, we discussed earlier, right? To reject projects, to tell them, like, not really, you're not aligned with who I am today, right? And I want to stay here because right now media in 2025, particularly in our industry, anyone can be media. And I want to put this out there. Like if you are one guy, one individual in this world that you are expert in your field, you know exactly your game, it doesn't matter, you can be a media. You can treat yourself as a media company and act accordingly. You don't have to be 100 employees company behind. So brands will want to reach you out, will want to monetize your audience. They want to partnership with experts and legit builders, right? How do you see this part? Like my question is, do you want to go from this point? You want to go build an entire company behind you, or how do you scale from here? Or do you want to focus on yourself, like build your name? When I pronounce Andres Halas, like
So
I know exactly his 7-figure contract.
so I want just to make something important regarding personal brand and company. I think so they're merging together, right? So I was at the IBC and Sigma panel. We were talking about influencers or KOLs against VCs.
Mr. Thank You was there, huh?
Mr. Thank You was there, yeah. So the influencer against VC.
Another big boy.
Yeah.
Like he did.
Because he grew his account the same way that I did, actually. Doing giveaways, giving cards. So I like how he did it. So
Mr. Thank You, if you see this episode,
come to the podcast.
please, ICN Talks is always open.
We're doing Russian. So to answer your question, how I see it is it's a different scenarios. But what I was saying is Sigma IVC, I was doing a panel about VCs against influencers. The influencers, actually, the good ones, understood there cannot be only one person show. They need to grow. They need to have a team, a manager, content production, all of that. But also the VCs or the people in the institutional. Most of the people are becoming now influencers, the head of VCs. You see that why you probably have a couple of head of VCs want to do podcasts or coming to the show. So I see these two things are growing together. And then you see big case of studies like Mr. Beast, right? He's outperforming every single media company in the world. He has his own show, the Beast Games. Everybody's watching it. He's giving $10-15 million in prizes. And now Amazon reach out, and now Disney. Everybody's trying to do this kind of formats because these guys have the audience. Or you have Logan and
Lex Friedman.
You have Logan and KSI with the Prime drink. They become massive, but they have already the narrative, the community, and they just drive all the effort into a company. So for media, it's going to be the same. Yesterday again, I had this podcast with the Mill Road, and I was shocked they don't have more than 100 employees. I think they say that they have 40, but it's working. You see, you don't have to have 100 employees to be successful, but you cannot be successful forever only by yourself. You have to have a team. So right now in Crypto OGs, we're a people team, but what we're doing really well, and going back to AI, I'm utilizing AI a lot. So actually we hired 2 people that are experts in AI, but those 2 people are creating so much stuff. I won't mention the whole team.
That will remove the other 6.
No, they don't remove the other 6. But they are actually making the processes faster, so we don't need to hire more people.
Yeah, of course.
So media companies, especially in crypto, they have to adapt, and for me is what I'm focusing right now. I want to release time. I release time. I love creating content. I love to go to events and stuff, but my kids are getting older, right? And then the oldest one, in 8 years, he's not going to be at home because he's going to be an adult. So I want to release as much time right now, these 2 years. So when I'm 42, I have more time to be with him. Of course, I'm going to be in calls. Of course, I'm going to be creating content. But it's not about me becoming super successful or the number one or the brand ambassador or the company making billions. I need to release that time. And then I figure out later. When I'm 48, I probably go even harder, working more. But right now I'm trying to release that time to have more time with my kids.
So you are sort of like opposite, that the general standard desires, let's say like that.
Yeah.
Because people usually they go all in when at the younger stage, right?
Yes.
Like I'm just going now, and then after 40, I'll spend time with my family all around the world and stuff. But you say no, the kids they need me now more
yeah.
than later.
Yeah.
So now I focus on them. Then when they are good, I'll focus on me.
Yeah, and then also
Yeah.
they can retire me, right?
Mm.
So I actually bet this is something that most of my other friends, KOLs, or when I go in tour, actually my team, they say, Andre, how you have so much energy, right? So this is my moment, Danny. This is my moment. I'm 40 years old, but I didn't born in a generation that was given everything with the, for example, digital media. Or I knew about crypto when I was 31. I wasn't 18 or 16 or 17. I was 31. So now I'm 40. You know, I'm still young, but I know that all. So I maximize my time, obviously, to make the most of my life right now. This is one thing that is my New Year resolution. I also have to be happy myself. But in order to be happy myself and have more time for myself, I have to release more time. And to do that, I need to scale up and I need to create process. I need to make more money. It's a bunch of scenario, right? So yeah.
Very few people will understand this, but usually it will take you around 20 years.
It takes 20 years, right?
Yeah, this is the if you of course you can do it like
In
be
5
lucky
years.
somehow, yeah, like caught some nice times. By any accident you bought 500 Bitcoin, somehow you forget about it, or this type of scenarios we forget about them.
But I've seen those scenarios with people that make so much money. I have so many friends that make so much money so fast, so quick, but they lose their purpose.
This is another big one, yeah. But then let's say in this stage of making money, right? If you grow up in an environment like normal environment, right? Let's say like that. Nothing special, no coaches, not financial advisors, no this type of things, right? You literally need to discover the entire world by yourself, acquire all this information by yourself, then take action, fail, take action again, fail 300 times, right? And come up even stronger. And all this process, on this self-development that you experience, eventually will be one day when you are equipped with all these tools, the guy, the Binance, you have following, you have audience, have the certain elements in place, and this opportunity comes, will take you because now you are in the front end. So that one, people will say, he was lucky because he knew that guy, and of course they start this business, but literally it's like 20 years behind.
20 years.
A lot of work.
It's a lot of work. 20 years. 20 years. Okay. I have another 10 years to go.
Yeah. I mean, when you talk about big money, right, to make it, because you can make half meal or meal, but I don't want to sound arrogant or something, but 1 meal is not that much. If you put it in one house and something like, then if you want to, if you have kids, 2 kids, like it's not that much big amount. Like, but just normal.
I asked you a question that somebody asked me 4 years ago. How much money do you need to survive? Let's say with your family and kids. What is
my personal?
No, the whole thing. Like how much money you want to make? How much money you want to have in your wallet or in your bank account in dollars?
You ask me personal?
Yes.
This one is when it comes to numbers, I don't want to put limit, but I have goals, financial goals. I want to build ICN Group to be $1 billion company, first of all. And then after that, I want to have $1 billion day. Okay. I literally want to make $1 billion in one day.
1 billion. Okay, no, but let's talk about something closer
financial
for you.
Goals. And then, bro, if you make 1 million per year, and then you meet a guy who's making 100 million per year.
Okay, let's go to
that. It's not that much difference between your lifestyles.
Let's go to that $1 million.
Yeah.
But think about a number between 1 to $100 million. How much do you think? Forget about the company. Forget about money to have right now, cash to live. How much do you think you need, or would you be happy with it?
That's two different things, right? Like, how much do I need? I'm smart enough to survive with less than $1,000. But I'll be happy? No.
No.
To be happy is different thing.
Okay, to be happy.
To be happy is $1 million per year.
So that's about $90,000 a month, right? So that's the question that my friend asked me, how much money I want. And back then I said I need $20 million. And actually CC said after $50 million, it doesn't make a difference. You have 100 or 2 billion or 50 million.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, but imagine, like, it's just a matter of the size after that. It's not about that. It's nothing that you can do with 100 million and I can't with 5.
No, but let me finish this part. It will take me 30 more seconds. You need only $50,000, my friend said, and he's very wealthy. He said, you got $50,000 a month.
Yeah.
I live in Miami, you live in Dubai, in London, whatever. You don't need more than $10,000 in a rent. You don't need. $10,000 is too much.
Yeah.
Then if you want to fly private, you're not going to fly private every time. That charter costs you $20,000, $30,000 just to go, and you're not going to go every month.
Yeah.
So let's say 10,000, so you have 20,000. Then in food, if you go out and you cook and all of that stuff, another 10,000. And then clothes, 10,000. And if you want to hire a boat, you're not going to buy it. You hire a boat every 2 weeks, it costs you 10,000. He say, and then realistically, you need only $50,000 a month to be very good.
Yeah, it's like what I said is $1 million. $1 million is 80 something like that.
It's good without paying taxes.
After.
After.
Yeah. That's my goal. Like, but it's a big difference between $1 million in business revenue and $1 million in your pocket.
It's different.
That's like I was in businesses where we were doing 3 mil per month, and we were minus.
Yeah.
You know, like it's totally different things. Like you can do 10 mil per month, and like once you reach with $1 million in your pocket, that's a totally different story. It's a very long way.
Yeah.
But yeah, still, when it comes to money, I think this is a sweet spot. Now, of course, there's levels, right? Like people watch, what are you talking 80,000? Like, okay, go and talk to Elon Musk, see his numbers. Go talk to Bezos, his numbers, right? So it's not about, and I'm sure that we'll be here right after 3-4 years. Inshallah, we'll be both of us in that stage. You'll see that you'll get you'll go crazy. You'll meet a guy who is doing $1 million per day. You'll go crazy, because the brain will put you in a position to say you can do it.
Yeah, that's true.
And you see the guy, and I see your brain. Like literally, I'm making like 2 mil per year right now. You make 20, right? And then I talk to you. I have conversations, and I see that you're nothing special.
You know what?
And then I go crazy. Like, if he can do it, why I'm still at 2 million?
Danny, you know what I really want? I don't think I need more than $100 million, and I don't want to make more than 100. I'm going to be realistic.
Yeah.
I am the first millionaire of my family, right?
Exactly.
But I don't want to be the first billionaire of my family. I want my son be the first billionaire of the family. I'll tell you the reason why. Because I'm the billionaire, then my son has a big stuff to do. My dad fucking make $1 billion. Now I have to fucking make 10 billions. But if I help him, I teach him everything that I know, because I couldn't have that with my dad. He wasn't next to me.
Yeah.
And my son become the first billionaire of the family. Of course, I get the credit as well, because so that's my ethos.
You have boy?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a boy as well. So what we want, because we have boys, right? With girls is different.
Yeah,
but with boys is like that.
Yes.
You want to install some stuff, okay, the foundation.
Yes.
But what I want at the personal level, I want him to be equipped with all this stuff. But at one point, I want him to see that he took a bold decision, like he will never tell me about it, and be incredibly successful.
Of course.
By his own. I want to see that particular move that he generated by himself, and like, hey dad, I'm here, like, I want to see. I don't want to have that type of input when I teach you everything.
No,
Like,
no, no, no.
I'm just giving you the angles, the principles, and from here fly. Like generate by yourself, go and attack and take bets. And I want him to see that he will be able to generate these moves
Yeah.
and be successful. That one, like, after that, of course, we started from $10, we reach $1 million, right?
So
They
if
start
there's,
from 1 million, of course, potentially they will go way higher.
but no, I think so more than the $1 million or the 100,000 they're going to start. They are going to start with something that we didn't have, is access to all that knowledge.
Yeah.
So my son now has a bunch of books of like autobiographies for kids, of
Yeah.
Nelson Mandela, Jeff Bezos. He had books of everybody. So he's reading that. I didn't have access to that. Before I was only reading.
But this is the money game. The money
Yeah.
game is not about how much you can live with, how much do you need. This is not the money game. The money game is only here.
It's in the
So
head.
when you will be able to position yourself in environments where everybody at the table, we are making 200 million per month, and you make 2 million, you become like this in 1 minute. You don't want to stay in that stage. You want to grow, and then you'll be handling 50 mil per year, and then you meet the guy again. Next stage is about a mind game. Like how much you can handle, how much you can generate from you as an individual, right? This is the money game, not like living halas $20,000. You are king of the world. You eat whatever you want.
Yeah.
You spend time by the pool ordering prawns and mango juice. You don't need more than that, right?
Yeah.
This is the money game.
Why mango juice?
I love mango. We need to wrap it up, brother.
Okay.
I had so many things to cover with you, but
Maybe we can do the
need
version 2.
Yeah, we can do part 2, of course. Appreciate. Thanks for coming.
No, thank you so much for inviting me to all the ICN Talks
Yes.
family. We'll see you in the next one, right?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank
brother.
you, bro.
Appreciate.
Strong guy.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching, and see you again on the next one.